Hey everyone, it's Jerry at the Fledge. Welcome to another episode of Every Damn Day. Today on the show we have our good new friend Amanda Brewer. How you doing, Amanda?
I'm good. How's everybody doing?
I think they're doing great. Hopefully they're all warm and eating soup or something because it's snowing
Absolutely.
outside.
Oh, send some warm weather your way.
We would love that. So why don't you tell us where you are real quick?
So I'm here in LA, pre-lockdown. I've been here for about 2 years, but just enjoying LA. I'm close to downtown area. It's pretty sunny, a little bit chilly, but yeah, I'm just making it happen.
My daughter's been out 3 times this year to LA during the pandemic happening because her boyfriend, I guess, moved out there to go to music school. So
Well, that's awesome.
she's been loving LA too. And you're the second person from LA that started in Lansing and ended up in LA that's been on the show out of the 71. So we're real excited to hear what you're up to.
I'm happy to be here.
So, of course, Fonda Brewer, you know her?
I think I might know her. I think she might have gave me life.
Well, she says hi, Jerry and Amanda. So she's kicking it off. And we got a couple other viewers out there saying hi to us too, and we'll talk to them as we go. So why don't you tell us about you, about the projects you're working on? Take us anywhere you want.
Okay. Well, I was born here actually in LA, and then my mom and I relocated back home to Michigan. So I was raised there. Went to school in Eastern Michigan, at Eastern Michigan, out in Ypsilanti. Took up theater, actually taught theater for a while, moved to Atlanta for a bit, and then I moved back to Lansing. And then that's when I taught theater, kind of realized that I wasn't really following my dreams as I pushed my students to do so. So I'm like, I gotta follow my dreams. So I packed up my little Jeep and came out here, and I've been here in January. It'll be 2 years. Okay, I'm sorry.
I was just gonna ask, did you grow up in the Lansing area?
I did. It was more so Delta Township. My mom liked that. So I grew up out there, but, most of my family is like Lansing, inner city.
Yeah. Where'd you go to high school? Do you mind if we ask that?
Yeah, I went to Waverly. Waverly High School. And actually my 10-year reunion is next year. So
I don't even want to tell you what year my reunion will be.
I'm guessing the 10th year as well,
Oh, yeah, right. So let's see. I graduated from Eastern in 84. So I'm
nice. A Quaker.
I am a Quaker. What are you, a warrior?
Yep, we're warriors for sure. Black and yellow.
So, all right. So you were in Lansing or in Delta Township. You went to Atlanta. You came back. You went to LA. What's one of the things I've been curious about as I was thinking about this interview is what's your view of Lansing from LA right now?
That's a good question. I really feel like Lansing is more of a close-knit community style. And that's what I love most about home. Like I could literally drive anywhere with my eyes closed home. Versus here, it's so huge. I still use the GPS everywhere. But I'd say back home, it's a community. And that's what I love about back home. But I wish that there were more opportunity, which there are. Like a lot of things are now starting to happen. And that's exciting,
Yeah. So tell us what you're doing in LA. I mean, right now you're working on you're finishing up a pretty exciting project. Yeah.
Yeah. Yep. So I just wrapped up. Jamie Foxx has a new show on Netflix called Dad Stop Embarrassing Me. And we just wrapped Friday night. I work on the director's team. So I work a little bit under the director. And it's been an awesome project. We actually started it in March, but due to COVID, we took a break. So we break for like 4 months. And then we came back and we wrapped it up. But with COVID, things kept happening. We kept shutting down and then opening back up and shutting down. So we finally did it. Like 9 months later, we wrapped one season, which isn't common. It usually takes like a month or 2 to wrap like a season. So
is this the first show that you've done since you've been out there or?
Nope. I've been on a couple other shows. I did promo for David Spade, Lights Out. He's actually on the stage next door to us. So I actually had lunch with him like a couple days ago randomly. But I also worked on The Neighborhood with Cedric the Entertainer. That was my first show out here. And I did a couple of other like promo photo shoots for like Larry Wilmore and a couple other people, but just starting to get my, my feet wet and everything.
Yeah. So do you think you're finding what you were looking for when you were like, I'm not living my dream. I've got to, I'm telling my students to do this. Is it happening?
I think it's happening. Like, I'm just really scratching the surface. I'm not yet where I want to be. Sometimes, that kind of gets discouraging because we often have a timeline for what we want to do. And, I'm a believer of God. So his time is like the best time. If it happens on my time, it probably would have been too pre-planned or, something like that. But I think I'm scratching the surface. I'm getting there. Like my foot's in the door. So I just have to continue to make it happen.
It's like, I want your autograph. You're naming all these other famous people.
I want yours. You have this dope story, so
thanks. Awesome do you ever pinch yourself sometimes though, too?
I can't lie, I do. Like this actually happened to me like a couple of days ago when I was on set, and I was just looking around and I was just looking at some of the directors who've been in the game for 20 plus years and have worked on The Office, have worked on like Frankie and Gracie and Frankie, the show, Shameless, like, which was one of my favorite shows. And I'm like, wow, like I kind of look at it like it's a paid internship. I'm like, I'm just learning something new every day. And I do pinch myself because I'm like, wow, I'm really here. Like I was just back home,
See, I think that's a gem, something you just said there that people really need to hear is that, even if you've got a dream job, you got to suck it all in. You got to take in everything from these people. Doesn't sound like you get very starstruck. Is that?
No. And I think it's because like growing up, my mom took us on like a lot of cruises that had a lot of celebrities, and she's kind of like a little mini celebrity herself, so she's kind of always included and introduced us to different people growing up. So I just kind of look at them the same, like they bleed just like I do, they use the bathroom just like me, so I really just kind of like get to know them as humans first, because I'm all about people being good people, versus them being so starstruck, like, and putting them on a pedestal. I don't believe in that.
So your mom's over in the comments saying a bunch of, good things and stuff like that about us. But I'm going to put something from Chris Pruitt. He wants to know how long until you're the director. And is that the lead into maybe what's your project?
It could be. Chris, to answer your question, my main focus is not to be a director, but I'd love to direct like an episode of my show. But I think as a writer, because I'm a writer, the things that we write as writers often get us to the director's seat. So I probably will write my way to a director's chair, but the main goal is to just have my stuff on paper be featured as a TV show. So
you want to tell us a little bit about that project, like what it's called and all that?
Absolutely. So the project I just finished working on and currently trying to pitch to several networks is called Gay AF, or Gay as Fuck. The show is kind of centered around my high school journey. Obviously, it's a little bit exaggerated, but it's kind of based around my high school experience. And the reason I wanted to write it is because we don't have a coming of age story of a Black queer woman or a Black queer girl. If we do have something like that, like, please point me to the direction, I will watch it. But I haven't seen a TV show like that. So I want to be the first to do that. So the girl back home or the young girl anywhere who looks, like me, has a story that she can relate to. That's really important for me to do. So
I think that's a critical message to get out there. And, that I love talking to creatives that are touching our culture and that are documenting what's happening. How do you think that this year, like with what happened with George Floyd and all of the social unrest about social justice and about Black Lives Matter and the movements there, do you think that elevates your project that you're working on now?
I do. I do think that it elevates it, but amongst George Floyd, we have Trayvon Martin.
Oh, sorry.
We had Sarah Bland. We had all of these different things, plus 400 plus years of oppression. So I do carry that with me as a backpack. But I think George Floyd really just shed light and kind of educated all of us on different things that we need to change. Like, it's just time to change. But to answer your question, yeah, like during that whole period, that's like, okay, it's time to get more Black stories out there because we don't have too many. I mean, we kind of rotate with the same ones, and it's like there are other Black stories that need to be told as well. So.
Yeah, I feel like I need to defend myself, but people know my context. They know I didn't mean to. That George Floyd was the first one. I mean, because it has been happening forever. But what I guess what you just hit on there about the stories, like about Greenwood District Studios that is happening in Lansing now. And I'm so proud to be involved in that project because it's a chance for people at the top to get to say what's going to go on screen. And I feel like it's been edited by white people for so long. And everybody you named, I think, about who you had lunch with and all of that, these are all Black leaders in the industry, right?
Absolutely.
And so I'm so proud to have you on the show. I mean, and I'm not just saying that because your mom's watching, but
He's like, say it, Jerry, say it. No, I'm just kidding.
I really feel like you're in a position where you're going to make such a strong difference. And just, I guess one of the things I was thinking about, as you were talking, I was thinking about Waverly and, kind of, I don't know when you came out or you were talking about yourself, right?
Oh,
yeah.
Yep. I graduated 2011.
Oh, I guess what I'm saying was it difficult for you at Waverly?
Oh, no.
Yeah.
I didn't. I was very much so closeted. I was still kind of discovering who I was. And I mean, I'm a bisexual woman, but I was still kind of discovering that. And I was kind of dealing with, people that didn't want to be out in that light. So I kind of, shed my light to kind of pay respect to what they wanted. But yeah, I was closeted during high school. And it was kind of a different time. Like, it wasn't one of those times where you could, like, now in 2020, everything is so fluid, especially out here in LA. Like, they just kind of bat an eye, like, okay, you're gay, and I still want to get my coffee. Like they just kind of keep going. So it's just a different time period. So I think that people probably, like, young girls are probably still timid, who probably are in high school are still timid to be expressive about that, especially back home, I can imagine. So I think that with this show, that will really open the door for conversation and open build their confidence to just say, hey, like, I think I'm a queer woman and there's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, I mean, there's so much pressure on kids today.
Yeah.
And then if you add female, if you add Black, if you add, maybe you live in a community like, let's say, I'm going to call one out and I'm going to get in trouble, but let's say Dansville or something like that. They're not going to be very tolerant of this. So you're going to be even more afraid.
Exactly.
And to have, I guess you would be a role model, or your characters would be role models to kind of follow a pattern. Absolutely. Is that your hope there?
Yeah, it is. So my character in the show is the only queer character. Everyone else is pretty much heterosexual. But I think that that's the goal, to really open that up and shed light to that, and for people to just be a little bit more comfortable in their journey, their walk, even as, like, being younger. Because nowadays, like, even kids who are 16, we had them on the set for the show I was just working on. And they're so gifted, so smart, so aware of themselves. And I just look back at one of the lead characters or actresses from the Dad Stop Embarrassing Me show that I was on. And she's just so fluid and so aware of herself. And I was inspired by that, because I feel like when I was 16, I was still trying to find myself and not live in the shoes of, what my family wanted me to be, or, anything like that.
Yeah. We have a hypothesis, I guess, at the Fledge, or a theory that people get knocked off tilt by their school, they get trapped in a career, they maybe fail a class and can't be what the doctor that they wanted to be. And so they're born to be some way, but our families, our friends, our society starts to push us in a different direction. Sometimes on purpose, sometimes inadvertently, sometimes they don't know that they're doing it. And that gap that gets created there gets filled with substance and depression and all these bad things. And I really admire you because in two areas, one, the getting involved and going out to LA rather than just staying here and teaching, that filled the gap. And then coming out probably filled the gap. You're a role model to a lot of us.
Thank you. I appreciate that. There's still a lot more I have to work on and, build as my confidence continues to build. And as I continue to hone in on Amanda, I just hope that that'll continue to come out,
Are you super young where you're at with the people around you?
I'm fairly right in the middle. I'm 28. That's kind of still feels weird to say I'm close to 30, Jerry. I'm like, I'm feeling the heat. I'm like,
it's gonna go fast. Once you hit 30, it goes fast.
I'm like, I need to own a home. Like, I'm just feeling all these different things. But yeah, I'm fairly young in the industry that I'm in. A lot of people who are on set are well over 40, well over 50. Like, they've been in the game so long, but they kind of see that, younger people are starting to come more into play. And I like the set that I was on because they make it a learning environment. They don't necessarily withhold information from us because they don't fear, one of us taking their positions. They more so are like, no, do it better than me. Like, so
yeah.
You can be up here and you can do it way better than I do. So
I think there's another gem of a lesson. We need to be propping each other up. We always think that we're competing with each other. Exactly. And we certainly don't need to be competing with each other. There's so much out there to be done.
Absolutely.
You're full of gems today, Amanda.
I'm trying. I had a little bit of coffee today. I start my day with iced coffee just about every day. So that gets me going with some water.
Hey, you're jumping ahead. What's something you do every damn day? What's something you do every damn day to move your mission forward, to move the needle forward in what you're trying to do? And you know what? Let me stop for a second. What is your mission?
My mission?
What's your big thing you're trying to do?
My goal as a creative, I think that was one of the purposes that God put within me to do is to tell stories. I'm a storyteller. I'm a creative, whether that be creating content on screen, whether that be creating like me. I've somewhat like later in life, I want to go into music. Like, I don't know if I want to like play the electric guitar around the world. Like, there's so many different things I want to do. But I just want to start with the writing and everything. But to answer your question, what is something that really gets me going? What's my mission? It's to always help people. And it's to tap into every, passion, every purpose, every dream that I have within me. I want to accomplish that before I, depart the earth.
Well, I just want to say to you, well, let's say a few months ago, I was probably double your age. I'm 54 now. So you're 28.
I would have known that.
Yeah, it's from, I'm not going to say because your mom's watching.
I'm going to say black don't crack, but no.
But, you have from my lifetime, you've got a whole nother lifetime until you get to where I'm at. And I feel like I could start learning how to play a guitar and go around the world and stuff. So don't ever put a limit on yourself because, man, I'm loving what you're talking about. And I want to see you make that mission happen. But to that point, is there something that you do every day as a storyteller, as a creative, that pushes you towards that more?
Every day I write, whether that be I'm writing in my phone or I'm writing on Final Draft, or I'm just jotting down something in a journal. I keep a journal with me because I think of different things. Or like my mom, she always kind of wakes up in dreams and she's like, "Oh, Amanda, I got a great idea." I think that was kind of embedded in me. So I'm kind of the same way with that. Outside of writing, I do enjoy nature. I love walking like trails and parks. I don't know if that's LA kind of rubbing its way on me, but I've always enjoyed just walking and clearing my head. So every morning, if I'm not on set, I try to go to like a park and walk and just see and learn different things around me. I enjoy learning. So lifelong learner.
Yeah, that's lifelong learner. Everyone keep doing that. But also from a mental health perspective, all of us have been just clobbered this year with, quarantine, or, I haven't stayed home a whole day this entire time because I've always had to come here to do something, whether it's take care of the chickens or whatever. But the strain on just all this different stuff happening, has that really saved you a bunch by getting out there?
Yes. Just being cooped up in the house, it can cause depression. Those walls can kind of cave in on you, but getting out in nature, and me being a Libra, I really thrive off of people. So I enjoy, I'm the type of person, I enjoy the mall because I like people watching, and I'm a writer. So I can write a story. Like, I wonder what that couple's thinking. Oh, I wonder how long they've been married, or if they're going through any conflict, different things like that really make me feel like I'm contributing something in some way.
The Lansing Mall's for sale. Maybe we should offer them $1 and see if they take it. And then we could have a mall and a theater and everything.
Exactly. I hope that we do something about that, because the Lansing Mall was always a stumping ground when I was growing up. So
you're Fonda. You want me to call her your mom or Fonda? Let's just get that out of the way.
Either way.
All right. So your mom's asking, ask her about MSH.
MSH. Oh, okay. So that's been my mom's big slogan, make something happen. She instilled that in me probably when I was like 6 or 7. She even had little bracelets that said MSH. But it's truly just to make something happen, whether that be with anything that you do. And that can go for anybody who has a passion or who just wants to do something. And it's like, we all have the same 24 hours. So we all can make it happen, whether that be, you want to be a business owner. Well, it's nothing to get an LLC. You know what I mean? Or you want to open up a production studio, like how you're a part of, like you can just go out there and do it. So it's literally make something happen.
I was wondering why I loved your mom so much. I mean, she always supports us for sure, but she does make stuff happen, and you're making stuff happen. And we always say, fail forward fast.
I love that.
Just get in there and do it, and you're going to succeed or learn. It's all a big video game, right?
That's a really good way to put that. I love that.
So on the show yesterday, I had Sarah Sanders, she's a body painter and a fine artist. And I told her about you, and she said, if you could produce, make, any show, maybe it's music, maybe it's art, maybe it's, I didn't know so much about you before. But if you could produce anything, what would you produce? Like, what's your dream thing to do?
Well, outside of the show I told you about, I really have a show that's near and dear to my heart, and it's called High Rise. And that's something that I've worked on for probably the past 8 or 9 years, off and on. I often rewrite it like every week, or not every week, but every few months, because it's just something that's so delicate to me. I feel like it has to be right. But the reason that that's like my biggest dream is because it's based off my entire family. And there's so much, my mom could be attest to this. There's so much that my family has gone through just on my grandmother's side that the story has to be told. Like, you can't make it up. So I think, to answer her question, that's something that would be big to me. Like, that's something that I want to do before, loved ones pass away. I want to do while my grandma's here, because she's the lead character in the show. So I want her to see that. I want her to be able to do that.
Is that on the Brewer side of your family, or yeah?
My grandfather's the Brewer side. My grandmother's young, before marriage.
Okay.
That's on her side.
Because I can get into stories about me and Frank. Is that your uncle or your cousin?
Yeah, that's on my grandfather's side. Yeah.
Me and Frank used to run around when I was a kid.
Did you?
So that's how old I am.
Well, Frank Jr., right? Not.
Oh, Frank Jr. Yes. Yeah. So on my show tomorrow is Carla Jenkins Jennings, and she owns a campground. And what question would you like me to pass on to Carla?
For Carla, I would ask her, in what ways does her camp help others? Is it all inclusive? Does she plan to branch out and, open it to people who are in the foster care system or homeless people? How does it help?
Yeah, and she is such a great person. She's going to love that question and love answering that, because she's trying to think that through right now. She wants to, but she doesn't know how. You got any ideas for her? I love the foster thing.
I think with the foster care, I actually have a great friend. Her name is Courtney, and I can actually give her that information. I went to college with her, and she was in the foster care system, and she would always say every home she left, she would always travel with a garbage bag, just to her next home and everything like that. So I think to open it up to foster care, that would be something that her and Courtney could totally collaborate on, and I think that would be great for kids who are in foster care, because it kind of makes them feel like, how I felt as a kid, like going camping or, making a tent, just included to things like that.
So I got to tell you something, because and I'm going to ask you a question again in a second, but it's so weird. So what I believe is that a large diverse crowd, a large number of people, anytime they ever collide, it creates a serendipity, right? And it feels magical. It feels like God did it, right? And maybe he did. I don't know. But this morning, I've had somebody reach out to me to give us a bunch of camping gear. And I've also had a woman reach out to me to see if I wanted to get involved with her nonprofit that helps foster kids. And now you're throwing another foster person that does that in there. And then Carla's coming on tomorrow. I think it's serendipity. I think we got to make something happen with this.
We are. We opened the door for that. That's going to be awesome. And this so
everyone just saw serendipity happen live on every damn day.
Yes. Manifesting everything for sure.
So in the same lines of what you are asking Carla, what ways does your work help people? And I know we answered it quite a bit as we talk about the young lady who might not know how to express how she feels inside. But tell us more about that.
I hope that with my work, I hope that expresses people to follow their passion, not even just the sense of the content of the show, but just the mere fact of, just me being a Lansing native and coming out here and trying to do these things. Like, this can happen for anybody. And I hope that that's what people walk away with. Like, wow, like Amanda really just went out there with $500 and a dream and, and kind of made it happen. So I hope with anything that people walk away with knowing that we all have the same 24 hours and we all can make this happen. Yeah.
So I like how that's ingrained in you, that you can just do it. And great job, Fonda. I just have to say that because, if you know nothing else in life, knowing that can get you through everything. And only $500, huh? Was that scary?
It was so scary. It was so scary. There's so much, that I can't kind of really reveal and tell. But yeah, I just knew that I knew what I was doing back home wasn't enough. And I knew that there's things that I need to do out here, and I'm not going to stop until I get those completed.
So there's a few things from the crowd I want to put out there. I'm going to start with Sean, who is just a huge supporter of us. And she has a YouTube channel called That Lady Miss Betty, where she talks about her journey with her mother through dementia and Alzheimer's. And she says she wants you to write her story And what's it say? Bring it to the bigger, a little screen. Some screens has got to have it. So she wants to get on screen with you.
I would love to write that. My mom actually told me just a snippet about that, but I would love to talk more with you about your story because that's important. It's just telling diverse stories that we don't know much about. Like I don't know about the dementia world, but I know that it's important for people like me and everybody else to learn more about that and learn more about what goes into that and how we can help people who have dementia. So I'd love to be a part of that. Like anybody want to talk.
There you go, Sean. There's a hookup for you. And then Kiana, she wants to know what has been your biggest lesson during your occupational journey? Like, what's the biggest thing you're learning here?
I'm learning to not rush the process. Being out here and knowing what I want to do. Because, there's a few people in the industry, quite a few people who are still learning about what they want to do, what path they want to take, whether they want to be a director or producer. But with me knowing that I want to, tell my own stories, I want to produce them and whatever have you, it's just learning that it's all a process. And because I'm still at a certain point, I shouldn't be discouraged by that. There's still something that God needs me to learn here. So just opening my eyes to just wait on his time. And not so much, well, I want this now, because that's how, you can't put the cart before the horse. You kind of just have to let things flow. And that's what I'm learning.
It's funny, the lady that's working on the foster care is messaging me right now. So it's all starting to happen. We're manifesting it.
We're manifesting this.
And your mom serves on a review board too, huh?
Yeah, she does. She's been on it for several years now.
And I do have a soft spot for this. I have grandchildren. I have a daughter who passed away from a fentanyl overdose, and her children were obviously in the foster care. I was a foster parent for a while.
That is awesome.
And then we've done. Oh, thank you. We've done a suitcase drive for the kids because exactly what you're saying, that trash bag to trash bag kind of.
Yeah, it's not cool. So that is awesome.
So, do you see, will you come back sometime? Will you come back even if it's just to teach us something and then pop back out to LA or wherever you're going to be?
I plan to be back home around the holidays. So I'd love to, do a class or anything like that. If anybody wants to learn this TV mafia world, I can I'd be glad to, share tidbits.
Yeah. Because I know that a lot of times us people in Lansing, especially us older people, myself, your mother, and all of that, we don't want you to go, right? We want you to stay home and we want you to do something here. And you don't need salt water and sunshine to make all your dreams come true.
And, paid parking.
But at the same time, that would not be healthy for you, for the other kids. You guys have to go out and do this. But at the same time, it's such an opportunity for you to come home and teach us something and to leave some gems. I mean, you've spouted out a ton of gems. I'm going to have to go through and record them or write them down after the show. What do you feel obligated to do that? Do you feel pressured to do that? Do you think your mom gave me $20 to ask you this?
No, that's actually something I want to do. Like when I'm out here in my mind, I'm like, I represent for home, because I want people back home to know that they can do this. Like they can, you're not just subjected to Lansing. If you want to go out and be a writer, if you want to be a director or producer, you can make it happen. And just for my students that I taught, I kind of promised them that I'm going out here to do this thing. So that kind of rides with me heavy as well. But I would love to, be a vessel back home and teach different things or have a little seminar or, whatever, anything that I can do to help. That's my goal. I want to be the person to leave the ladder down.
And it's a virtual world now. So
it is. I can
you
Zoom
can teach
up
from LA. Yeah,
exactly. I can Zoom it up. I've made a lot of contacts. So if anybody, has any questions or, wants to direct or anything like that, or wants to write, I have a list of contacts that I can also share with people, to talk with somebody in the industry as well who wants to do that. And, myself included. So.
Well, when you come back, we'd love to see you at the Fledge again.
Yes.
I'm not. I gave you a quick tour, but let's sit and do something maybe, or maybe you'll be too busy. I don't know.
No,
You're
let's do it. I'm totally down. And I love
all
the
right.
pledge, like, just creating wealth in different in our own community. And that's so inspiring. When I was there, that opened my mind. I'm like, I have a lot more work to do. It's popping.
Well, I'm proud to know you. I'm proud to have you on the show. I'm going to do a little bit of business, and that's please subscribe to the Fledge YouTube channel so you can hear about every damn day, which happens every damn day at 2. We have 99 problems, but a pitch ain't one every Friday at 9 a.m. You can come in and win $99. And then we do 10,000 Fledges every Saturday. And eventually, I promise you, I'm going to start the coding club again. So that's my business part.
Nice.
I also want to say to you that our strength in our community in a lot of times depends on people to go out somewhere else. No matter what community you're in, you've got to have people to go out and do stuff somewhere else and learn from people that have done more than what we've done here, and to bring that knowledge back to us and to affect the culture, even if it's on Christmas break and spring break or whatever. I think that you're a gem, and I don't think we lost you. And you can be from LA even here. We used to say that when I was a little kid. We were from LA, but it meant Lansing area. So, so I always ask the guest at the end to take us out with something. And from you, it could be advice. It could be a story. It could be deuces. It could be I love you, Mom. Whatever you want. So you got anything to take us out with?
I think that during this time, if you are creative, I believe we all are creatives. Like, we're all put on this earth to create something or to help contribute something. So for especially those who are creatives out there, like, continue creating every day. Like, even if you don't feel like writing, or if you're a poet, you don't feel like doing poetry, you're a yoga instructor, I don't really feel like getting out the mat. Like, just do it, because we need that out here. You know what I mean? We need more content. We need more creatives to step up. We need to hear more stories. We need to be inspired by more and different things in the world. And I think that as creatives, I would just want to leave that, continue creating. And I'm speaking to myself as well. Just create, continue doing it.
You're amazing, Amanda. And you're exactly right. Everything that you see in our world is made by a creative. And I just want to say to everyone in Lansing, we can build our own future. We don't have to buy it from Boston or San Francisco or anything like that. So we can build our own future here. We can be who we want to be. And we've got wonderful people repping us all over the world right now. And Amanda Brewer is one of them. So you're amazing.
So are you, Jerry. And I'm so thankful to be on your show. And I can't wait to get back and visit the Fledge.
All right. We're going to see you soon. And it's been an honor. Much